Hi everyone! In this Quick Start series, I'd like to show you how to set up your Hyena Cart store as quickly as possible so you can concentrate on making and selling your items. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up categories in your store in the event that you have quite a few listings. Okay, so as you can see in my test store, I have been adding a lot of listings. These aren't all exactly the way you would do them in a real store, but I copied a bunch and I've got a couple different types of items now. I've got soakers, I've got yarn, and I've got longies. So they're all mixed in together right now. What I'd like to do is start adding some categories so that people can navigate my shop a little bit more easily. So what we're going to do is go back to the vendor pages again. And again, there's two ways to get there. You can go to the Edit Categories icon here, or you can go to Store Settings, Edit Categories. All right, so let's see what this page looks like. Right now, I don't have any categories set up. So what we want to do is add a category. And let's start with hand-dyed yarn. And this is the order in which the categories will appear. Let's say I want the yarn to show up first. And then I can put something in here like hand-dyed yarn from humanely raised sheep. Then I can upload an image for my yarn. So let's choose a file for this category, maybe something along these lines. So I upload the image and then I hit submit and I say add category. Okay, so now on my vendor page I can see that that category has been added. If I go to my store page now and refresh, I can see that that category is now created. Of course, if I click on the category, it doesn't have anything in it because I haven't put any products in the category yet. We will get to that. Let's make one more category. This one I'll call longies. And I want this one to show up second. And I'm just going to put a higher number. That way, if I later decide I want to insert some categories in between each other, I can do that. This number doesn't show up anywhere in the store. It just helps me decide how the categories are going to be displayed. And I will put some descriptive text in here. And let's upload an image for that category. We'll upload the image. Hit submit, and the text shows up here, and I just say add category. And let's just add one more category. And let's say, actually, I want this one to show up second. So now it's good that I left that little space in between the numbers. And we will choose a file. Upload image, hit submit. Okay, so we have three categories defined now. Now let's start putting our listings in these categories. And there's a couple ways to do that. So we can go to View, Edit Items, see a list of all of our items. And I can go to Modify. And as you can see, I now have categories to choose from. So this is a soaker. I want it to go in the soaker category. You'll notice that you can choose more than one category. If you have something that is soakers, but then you have also another category that's diaper covers, and you want this item to show up in both categories, you can check both of those boxes. So I can go through here and I can say modify product. Now when I go to my store, I can click soakers and I've got the one product in there. Now, as you can imagine, that's going to take a long time to go through all of these listings and put them in the right categories. So the other thing you can do is product listings, go to batch edit. So click on that. In this case, what I want to edit are the categories. So I'm going to click on categories, and then I want to edit all of them at the same time. So I'm going to make sure this says all, and then I'm going to say go. And what this now brings up is a page with all of the categories I've defined for the store and all of my listings. And I can just go through and say, okay, that's a soaker, 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 soaker. That's longies, yarn. I know this is a little bit boring to watch. And now I can hit submit. And that's going to make the edits for all of these listings now. Now when I go to the store, Soakers has all of my soakers, Longies has all of my longies, and Yarn has all of my yarn. Now, if a shopper wants to see all of the items, they can still click all items. And if they want to see everything in the categories, they can click here. Now, what's interesting is right now, all categories and all items, that page actually looks the same. And that's because of one of the settings we have in the store. Not to overcomplicate things, but let me just show you really quick a different view you can have, especially if you start having 30 or 40 items in your store and you don't necessarily want people to come into your store and see all of this because it's too overwhelming. So one of the other settings within store design is the landing page option. So right now, I have landing page set as view all. That means the first time someone comes into my store, they will see all of the listings that are available. One of the things I can change this to is all categories. So let's see what that does to our store. We'll go to the main store page. Now what shows up is the categories with the images that we entered for categories. And like I said, if there are a lot of listings in your store, this can be a little bit less overwhelming for your shoppers as a first initial impression of your store. This way they can look and say, okay, there are 5 listings in yarn, there's 5 listings in soakers. Actually, what I want is some longies, so I'm going to click on that. And I can now focus on these 4 things. So it really depends on how many items you have in your store. I would say if you have 10 or fewer, it's fine to just say all items. That way people can see everything. People don't necessarily want to click through a lot of categories, but if you have a lot of listings in your store, call it 15 or over, that's where you might want to start organizing things a little bit and have this all categories page take people just to the categories. All right, so that is it. I think that I will end the Quick Start series there. There are a lot of other features in the cart that I will cover in other videos, but between these 3 Quick Start videos, you should be able to get your store set up, get some listings going, and start selling your items. As I said, I will cover other features in future videos, but hopefully this series gets you started so that you can start selling as quickly as possible. Hope you found them helpful, and thanks for hosting your store on Hyena Cart.